Oh, how do you do it?
Oh man, that was funny. We should
I
have
hope
saved
I
that
hit the
for
right
show.
button.
Hey,
think I
is
did.
everybody out? Can anybody out there hear us?
Hello.
I see a live going. Live 13, 14, 15.
Well, let's see here. I'm over on the Longbox Crusade Twitter
There we
account.
go.
We're definitely broadcasting something. So
If you're there, give us a big hello in the chat. And hello, everybody. Welcome to 2022 year 7. Is it?
7.
we're into the 7th year of the Longbox Crusade. Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
this June, I think our anniversary is
Just
in June. I think.
Yeah. Year 7.
Goodness.
Wow.
Hey, everybody.
Hello. We gotta
My
say
hips
hello
hurt, my
to
knees hurt.
Aaron. Hello.
I'll tell you who we're saying
Jamil.
hello to.
Jim. And
We're
thank
saying
you,
hi
Jim.
to Auburn Elvis, Courtney, Head Speaks, Chola, and Jim Meal.
Thank you, Jim, for joining us in
Where's Kathy?
the Crusader in the Crusade.
Only assume her internet is down.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, hey, everybody. Glad you guys could join us. I'm just enjoying a delicious Diet Grapico soda. Refreshing,
Raspberry hot tea.
low carb, available at your local grocer. Oh, there's Kathy.
Okay, now we can go.
Oh, cool. Just as a reminder before Pat kicks everything off that Delvin will not be joining us today. He said
Where's everybody going?
he said pass. I don't know. I don't know why. Anyways, no, he is off on a road trip today. We wish him safe travels. And with Delvin out here, I'll be keeping track of the names in the chat today. So I have Auburn Elvis, Courtney, Head Speaks, Chola, Jim Meal, and Kathy. As usual, we'll be giving something away to one of those lucky winners at the end of it. And of course, we'll give something away to our Crusaders Club member at the end as well. Raffles. So
I'm gonna
just
give
remember
away
to
my energy bill.
Jason's trying to pay his energy bill. Just remember to sound off in the chat if you want to be considered for today's free raffle prize. And I think that's it, Pat. I think that's all the.
I think so. Yeah. While you're also in the chat, go ahead and hit that like button. We just want to ask you to do that. Hit that like. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe, but definitely hit the like button. I've been doing a lot of studying on YouTube algorithm, and it's all about the likes.
It's all about the likes and the comments, man.
So likes and comments will get us the algorithm to push us up and help present our videos to others, people that are out there looking.
I mean,
as you scroll through stuff. So
even if you just think our show is like a piece of poop, then click the like button.
Like it. Yeah.
Like it. That's like a piece of poop.
Like, and then just think to yourself a piece of poop. I'm looking at you, Jim Meal. Yeah, I see you.
Jim, we need you to like that.
Jim, are you liking us? I hate sounding needy.
Please, God.
Please, Jim. Oh, God.
For just one like a day.
you can feed an LBC.
I can feed one of my cats for just one like a day.
You keep the lights on for Clinton in the basement. Just 1 hour a day. One light gives him 1 hour of light to Clinton in the basement. So please help us out.
All right. If you guys came here for a live recording of Amazing Spider-Man Chronicles, and you've come to the right place, Pat's going to kick us off here in just a second. We definitely want to hear from you guys in the chat with your thoughts on, the things when we get there, cover thoughts and all that stuff. We're going to try and include as much of that in the actual release recording as we can for this one. So, we're encouraging you to sound off in the chat, be part of the show. I think that's it, Pat. I'm going to shut up now, let you do your thing.
I got to read these real quick. So
Jason's got to read the comments.
Okay.
So.
What's Jason doing?
He's reading both people. So you just take your time.
Take your time.
He still got it. Oh, he didn't read them yet. Okay. I know they were kind of meaty, but anyway, we'll get to it later on in the show. So, all right. Well, I think now that we have everybody and we've gotten things out of the way, let's go ahead and start this for our first live recording for 2022. Woo! Can you believe it?
Woo!
we hope everybody did enjoy the 12 Days of Crusade Miss.
Mm-hmm.
We had a lot of fun doing those, and when they came out, we definitely had a busy December. So went out with a bang, I think. Really?
Yeah, you think we'd
We
learn
did.
our lesson, like 6 or 7 in a row, but nope.
Well, all right. We'll go ahead and get started. So just remember, everybody in the chat, jump on in if you're watching us live. Get on in the chats so you can, get... Host just muted my screen. I don't understand. Okay, never mind. So you can get on in.
I muted your share screen so it wouldn't mess up your audio recording.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Secret sauce behind the works, people.
Even I don't know what's going on, folks.
Yeah.
I just show up and strap in and hold on for the ride.
I see Courtney has joined us as well. Happy New Year, Courtney. All right. Well, let's get started. So, script up. Somebody finish that for me.
Pants, that we have people in the chat complaining that you accidentally said 1st of 2022 because nobody ever makes the mistake when there's a new year.
Oh yeah, sure.
They're jumping all over you. It's our ruthless people in the chat.
Man, haters are
they're calling you names. They're like unsubscribing. Their thumbs down.
It's like,
well, you know what? You know what? If I said something wrong, go ahead and put a comment. We would love to hear.
Oh, they're doing that.
Comments are flying, man.
You see what I did there? I'm getting them to
put
stuff
job,
in the
Pat.
comments.
Get those comments
so thank you. Get those comments going for us in the. All right,
scripts up, pants down.
Let's not mess around any further.
Time to mess around. Let's podcast.
Woo woo.
Have to come off the 2 claps. All right.
All right. Well, here we go. I got that up. Got to turn this on, and we will get started. In 3, 2. You're listening to Amazing Spider-Man Chronicles, episode 68, featuring Amazing Spider-Man number 212 and Uncanny X-Men number 141 from October 1980. That's all. You had that beginning. You had that beginning. It was down. I was like, oh yeah, I'm digging that.
It sounded just like it.
All right, here we go. So 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to the 68th episode of Amazing Spider-Man Chronicles podcast. I am your host, Pat, aka DJ Chris Tatos. Amazing Spider-Man Chronicles is a podcast that will journal the Amazing Spider-Man comic book issues, read chronologically by the release date, along with another comic from my collection from the... I already screwed this up beginning of the year.
I don't think anybody noticed. Keep going.
No.
Yeah, keep on rolling. Keep trucking.
Amazing Spider-Man comic book issues read chronologically by the release date, along with another comic from my comic book collection, either in digital, in a trade, or from the many long boxes stashed away in my basement. Each episode, we will provide short recaps, reviews, and ratings of the issues for this release date. The goal is to keep me actively reading through my collection and having fun along the way, talking about them with my friends. And speaking about my friends, you know what? We may be down one friend, Delvin the Dark Web Williams, who won't be with us, but don't let that discourage you from continuing to listen on, because we have my normal friends and we have my big friends with me here, all that are live in the chat. So we really do appreciate everybody watching us live, and come in, join the LBC family and join us, as you will be a big part of today's show. But let's go ahead and get to the main people joining me today. We got Jared Elbrick, aka Death Probe.
Hello, Pat. Being this is our first live show of 2023, I kept up with a little something that you all forgot about for the entirety of 2022, and I want to reveal that the tallies are in, and I won the most Hallies last year. So congratulations to me winning all those Hallies. I am the champion of 2022.
Wait a minute.
That doesn't compute with my math because
no one kept up with it but me. So
I was keeping up on my own.
Right here.
I was keeping up. Even my halfsies, I was keeping up on my halfsy health. You know how many halfsies I had?
Is it a lot?
Yeah, about half.
I just wanted to bring that back in case people forgot that we used to compete for Hallies like hardcore.
I'd forgotten, to be honest.
I told them, oh yeah, that was awesome.
I was listening to an old Chronicles episode from a couple of years ago just for fun the other day, and we were competitive for those Hallies. I was like, I need to bring that back.
Well, maybe somebody else can make that a part of their show. You know, that was all done from Hal Jordan, a great listener of ours and friend. He would listen to every episode and give one of us an award for that episode. Well,
usually me. Sometimes you guys, never Delvin.
Yeah. No, Delvin, I don't think ever got any for some reason. I don't know why. But anyway, so, you know, now that it's 2023, maybe somebody can make another award out there, and you can help us out with that. That'd be fun. We'd truly enjoy it.
Old bits, Pat. Old bits.
Yep, old bits. They keep coming, but the bits here just keep coming back and keep coming back. It's
put the bits in the freezer, you thaw them back out. They're good. Yeah. You reheat them a second time.
It's the circle of bit life, you know. Just think of how many Bitcoin we'd have if we were actually doing the amount of bits that we do. Man, we'd be rich. Anyway, speaking about being rich, let's go ahead and talk to old Moneybags himself, Jason Albrick, a.k.a. the Weasel Skull.
Well, Pat, thank you. It's good to be here. I have to admit, though, it's not really me. I sent the younger version of me into this body. So, like, I went the other way that Kitty Pryde did in the story. I decided to bring young me into here, and I don't know. I've just been listening to like Motley Crue all day. I went out, shot some hoops with the neighbors' kids, and now I can't move because unfortunately my body.
So wait. We have a less mature version of Jason.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh no! Wow. No, I didn't think about it that way.
It's gonna be booby jokes.
Oh, well, I don't know about that. And we're doing it live too. So, boy,
less mature, but still with the same broken down body. Hips hurt. I think I twisted the knee.
Probably didn't think about that. Oh, again, you're young yourself. Probably didn't think about that. And then once it jumped into the body and saw it, it was like, oh.
It's like, man,
abort.
That's right. This is what I have to look forward to? Oh, my goodness.
Oh, well. Also with us, joining us in the chat, we have, taking the place of Delvin, we have a lot of people in the chat. Well, Jared, can you give off a few names that you see there?
Sure can. Welcome Auburn Elvis, Courtney, Headspeaks, Chola, Jim Meal, and Kathy are all currently in the chat. We have gotten some suggestions on the replacement of Hallies. Someone suggested the Congeniality Award, which I probably will never win. The Bad Joke Award, which is I might be in contention for that.
I think this is a 4-way dead heat on that one.
Kathy recommended the Biggest Boob Award, and I'm not sure how to respond to that. So back to you, Pat.
Oh, boy. There's a few good ones to choose from. So keep them coming. Keep those ideas coming. We definitely will, we'll bring them back to the headquarters and we'll brainstorm about them. All right. Well, we do appreciate everybody in the chat. You want to get in on the chat, make sure you come and join us every second Sunday of the month at 3:30 Central Time. We go live with shows. So come and join us and be a part of the chat, where there's a chat within the chat that goes on that I can't even see right now. There's so much scrolling by me right now. And we really do appreciate it. So thank you all for being here. And with that, you also want to be another part of the show is you can leave us a voicemail that we just might play on the show. You can leave us a message at 707-532-5269. That's 707-532 L-Box.
Pick up the phone.
Now, before we get started with this episode's issues, let's take a quick podcast promo break and we will be right back. Woohoo! That part is done. Pick up the phone. There you go. A digital pick up the phone from Albert Elvis. Thank you. Love it. If you want to just call us and leave a voice message that just says pick up the phone, we'll take that.
That's right.
We can make a big
or if you call and leave a
it.
message that's just Yo Joe. Remember, we'll always add
Yep.
Yo Joes to our G.I. Joe podcast at the end. So do that.
Or you could call and say, I picked up the phone.
All right. We're going to get started, and we'll get started we'll go through the credits, and then we're going to do the cover. So we will get the cover up on the screen so you guys in the chat can take a look at what the cover for this issue. And so start thinking about your ratings. And when we get to that part, we will be looking for your answers then. And with that, why don't we go ahead and get started? 1, 2. Welcome back from the break. Now let's get to the first featured comic for this episode. It is Amazing Spider-Man 212. The credits for this issue are provided by Mike's Amazing World of Comics website. And I guess I got to bring up that picture, don't I? Sorry. I'm new to this. Boom. Uh-oh.
There's not much you can do about it. I'm just going to be gone. You and Jason can move to the sides. I'll just be talking out of Hydro Man's butt.
Okay. All right. Said that. All right. The publisher was Marvel. It's got a cover date of January 1981. Its on sale date was October 14th of 1980. Cover price was 50 cents. Editor was Alan Milgram. Writer is Dennis J. O'Neill. Penciler goes to John Romita Jr. Inker is Jim Mooney. And letterer is James R. Novak. Colorist is Bob Sharon. This is reprinted in Essential Spider-Man Volume 10 trade paperback. Also in Marvel Masterworks Volume 268 of Amazing Spider-Man Volume 20. Cover credits again go to penciler John Romita Jr. and inker Alan Milgram. And speaking about the cover, Jared, why don't you give us a cover description?
Not a problem, my friend. The Marvel Comics banner is black sea black with white cap letters. Spider-Man swings in his pond green corner box. The Amazing Spider-Man logo is ocean blue with red tide highlights. With the webs, kind of, but we can talk about that later. The main action is a deluge of adventure showing Spider-Man on the streets of New York leaping to dodge a water blast by Hydro Man. A cover blurb states, Spidey faces the wet threat of Hydro Man. Back to you, Pat.
All right. Thank you, Jared, for that wet and wild cover description.
H2O, no!
All right. Well, let's go ahead and get into some quick cover thoughts. And we will start with Jason.
I like this cover. It's really busy, but it's laid out in such a way that they managed to get a lot on there. I like the way that Spider-Man is really seen leaping into action. The kind of spider sense aura around his head really kind of gives that added layer of menace. What really stands out to me, though, too, is how they didn't really skimp on the background details. I've mentioned before, the thing I really admire about the Spider-Man comics and the covers themselves is how they really bring the city into it. So you've got the spectators in the background. You even got the little fire hydrant there with the water that it looks like either Hydro Man's coming out of it or it's powering him to fight Spider-Man in there. So although a busy cover, well laid out and lots of detail, I like it, even though it's, maybe a C-level villain on the cover. And you get his butt mainly. But other than that, I like it.
Yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and go to Jared for some comments.
All right, just had to answer Elvis's tech questions in the chat because I'm doing it all today. All right, my cover thoughts are as follows. This is a neat cover because it has a lot of energy. That's the biggest thing it has going for it. I mentioned in my description, though, that it had the webs sort of. Has the webs like in its own yellow color box. Like it doesn't lay over the image. It's like it's tacked on up there, which I thought was a little weird and a little disconcerting. But otherwise, thanks to the building underneath it being yellow, that's really hard to notice. So they did a little clever conceal there. But yeah, there's a lot of energy going on. Flowing water is always kind of fun to look at on covers. And when you got a guy like Hydro Man, spoiler alert, I didn't know this was his first appearance.
Yeah, I didn't either.
I thought he was an older villain in this. This was a surprise to me. Sometimes my memory, not so good. But yeah, his flowing water looks really cool. I like the way there's an included fire hydrant that he's drawing from. They've included people in the background to add emotion. And of course, you know me as the comic book inker that I am. I look at those buildings and I go, that's a lot of time and effort with some rulers, and it pays off because the buildings look really nice. So it's not the greatest cover I've ever seen. I'm a little about the way they kind of pasted over those webs, but it also has a lot going for it as far as energy and adventure. What do you think, Pat?
You know, I'm going to agree with Jason and you that the detailing on this, just a lot of work, definitely on the line work that's being done here. They didn't really skip on the buildings at all, just to give you that depth and that feeling here. And with the water coming out, now understanding what Hydro Man's kind of power is and how he comes about, I thought it was interesting to see, because when I first looked at the cover, I didn't really notice that. I just noticed that he's shooting off water, but I didn't really notice that it was coming from the fire hydrant until you actually mentioned it now. And I'm like, oh, okay, kind of goes along with the story here that we'll find out in a little bit. So definitely like it. And you're right, the webs are kind of a little bit wonky. I guess I'm used to more of the webs just kind of coming out like that. So is this different too with the web, kind of having like the 3 center points?
I think that's fairly typical. It's
okay.
just
I don't know if it was
just weird the way it's laid over. That's all.
Yeah, could be. Well, let's see what some of the folks in the chat thought about this picture. Jarrett, do you have anything?
I do. Auburn Elvis, and I should have here. Auburn Elvis stated, not the most interesting cover, but a good range of color. Spidey looks great. So that was his thought on that. I think, aside from Jim Meal saying Hydro Man looks like he's retaining water, which is jokes and jokes. We love the bits here. Yeah. That's about it as far as people weighing in on the cover. Although Head Speaks is trying to score it already. I'll save that score for you, Aaron. No problem.
Last minute comment from Auburn Elvis. He says he really likes the parking restrictions on the cover as well. That adds a whole new layer for him.
That is interesting, because when I was reading it, and I have it because I have these in PDF format, I was able to kind of zoom in on that, and I was like, oh, trying to read what it said there. But it got close to reading what the parking restrictions were. So that caught my eye as well too.
It almost makes me wonder if they didn't actually go, down to a street level somewhere and take a picture and use that as the reference for the buildings when they drew them. That's highly possible.
Could be, definitely. All right. Well, with that cover description out of the way, why don't we go ahead and get into the rating of the cover here on Amazing Spider-Man Chronicles? We have a cover rating of 1 through 5. 5 is you loved it. It tickled your tummy feathers. 4, really liked it. 3, liked it. 2, didn't like it. And 1, you hated it. It ruffled your tummy feathers. Ooh, or it made your, I guess for this one, it soaked your feathers. Ooh.
Yeah. Feathers are all wet.
Gotta dry out my feathers now.
Yeah. Now I'm like trying to shake it off like a dog, and I can't. Let's go ahead and find out what your thoughts or what your rating is for the cover. Jason.
I'm going to give it a 4. I suspect I might be the high watermark here for this one. Whoa. But, I don't know what it is. I just think the Spidey pose looks great. I think the details in the background look great. I love the fire hydrant and the Hydro Man. The crowd, it just, for whatever reason, it just works for me.
All right. Jared, 1 through 5.
I will give it a very easy 3, maybe even a strong 3, some might say. I missed a comment from Kathy earlier who said she was not a fan of the yellow building into the yellow sky, which is what I was basically talking about that yellow overlay.
Yeah.
I think if that wasn't a little off-putting as it is, I might have gone to a 4. And I also have to point out that they kind of did that thing where they don't show Hydro Man's face. Like, who is Hydro Man? And you read the book, it's like he's some guy.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter one bit. So yeah, I'm going to give it an easy 3. It's a 3 with a smile on my face. What about you, Pat?
I am with you on 3. So it's 2 Who guys that are on 3 Island, and Jason is all alone, just being a 4 chump.
Hey man,
he's not alone.
No, that's true. That's true.
With a 4.
Okay, he's not alone. We got some people in the chat here.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. So let's go ahead and roll into the chat.
Got you covered,
find out
man.
what they rate.
Head Speaks gives it a 4. Courtney gives it a 5. Auburn Nova says he's giving it a 4, but he bumped it up for those parking sign details, and he's giving it the full 5. I love that. Kathy gives it a 3. Aaron's once again says it's a 4. He said something, but I'm rounding it up because we don't entertain those shenanigans on this channel. Chola gives it a 3, and Jim Meal gives it a 3. So I mean, we got ourselves a good cover here. It's
we do.
Anywhere from 3 to 5, and I think that's fair. It really just kind of depends, probably on your love of Hydro Man and your love of the layout. It's a good layout, so certainly
it is. Definitely, it's no rakish angle. I would, if this had a rakish angle, then definitely. But I think I like it because it's street level.
Yeah, there's an appeal there. You can feel New York City in it, so there's an appeal there.
Okay, well, with the cover rating out of the way, it is now time to get to a quick story synopsis. And that will be brought to you by the voice of Delvin.
All right, Pat's going to attempt to bring this audio up and share it. Pat, I'm going to unmute that screen for you.
Okay.
And hopefully your audio file worked just fine.
Hold on, let me get it ready.
The title of this issue is...
Did you guys hear it?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Here we go.
The title of this issue is The Coming of Hydro Man. So Spidey is still aboard the SS Bulldog after beating the Submariner. They're still dropping the generator, and when yet another accident happens, Spidey inadvertently turns Morris Bench into Hydro Man. I can explain how, but I think you get it. Enzymes be coagulating and whatnot. During a record heat wave, Jay Jonah hires Pete to take pictures of folks in said heat wave. Boring. But then news starts circulating about a dude popping up through drainage pipes holding grudges and whatnot. So Jay Jonah tells Pete to go do that. Find this guy, causing Pete to ditch Debbie Whitman again. Spidey has one run-in with Hydro Mariner and stalemates, so Pete has Jay Jonah print an article challenging Sub-Hydro to a fight atop a building. Guess how Spidey beats Nay Morris? Go on, guess. By dehydrating him. You never guessed it, did you, idiots? All I'm saying is they probably should have based water-themed co-stars a little farther apart, right? Anyway, back to you, Pat.
Well, Delvin, thank you for that synopsis. Made me kind of thirsty. All this talk about water.
Gatorade
left me a little dry. And just let me get rid of the layout. All right, back to our normal. And there we go. All right. Well, with the synopsis out of the way, let's go ahead and get to the bric-a-brac for this issue. Is it a first read or a reread? Jared?
I think it's a first read for me. If I read it before, I don't remember it. So I'm going to call it a first read. Yeah, I don't remember that one.
It's a first read for me as well. Jason, is it a first read or a reread?
Rainbow Up, first read for me as well.
Awesome. Woo! That means it's a reedy rainbow.
Reedy rainbow.
Oh, we did it. Oh, our first rainbow of the new year. Oh, I love it. I love it. Let's go ahead and get into some high, lows, or whatas. Now, we'll go to Jason. You got a high, low, or whata to start us off for the first round?
Well, I think I should state out of the gate that I did enjoy the book. I thought it was an entertaining read. I did understand Hydro Man's motivation as to why he wants some revenge against Spider-Man. Spider-Man is not very good on boats. He's not a great shipmate, but so I kind of there. But it gets me to my what the, like his plan, like was he really like? Because he's just going like all around New York City, like in the water tube. He's like popping up on women taking showers and everything. Not Spider-Man, not Spider-Man. This could have gone on all freaking week. I would think. I haven't done the math, like how many miles of pipes there are and how fast he can travel. But I gotta think this is gonna take a minute the way he's going about it.
That is true. I think was kind of an odd plan to go about. But I want to go back to your first comment of Spider-Man not being a good shipmate. How many villains has Spider-Man actually caused for himself? This for a minute there, I'm like, oh, the stuff got knocked over. But then when you read back again, it's like, oh, he is actually the cause for this guy going overboard.
Yeah, he knocked him overboard. No, Spider-Man's heart was in the right place, and he didn't know those guys were over there. But this is a bit reckless. We'll leave it at that. And I don't know the answer to your question. Like how many
villains or like that were actually created from Spider-Man? That did he know he created him? Or, he knew it was on the ship, but I don't think he still figured out that it was his fault for knocking him over.
I think Morris I think he had anger issues to begin with. I think Morris needs to work some things out, but I'm just saying, I mean, I understand Morris's motivations. It's just his execution. A little more planning. That's all.
Jared. High, low, or what?
That was going to be my very first note, was the tenacity of Hydro Man. So I'll let that go since we've discussed it. But okay, so we got a lot of it's Spider-Man's faults. Spider-Man unwittingly knocked this guy off, and he gave the guy superpowers, right? And a pretty decent superpower set, kind of a cool, useful power. And what is this guy's first thought? I want to hurt people. So yeah, I'm not dinging Spidey on this one. This guy's an a-hole, period. All right. That's it. He got a cool superpower, and his first thought was, I want to hurt somebody. So screw this guy. I don't feel bad for him one bit.
Yeah, well, I'm not saying I feel bad for him.
No, me neither.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that aside, then I will say I will give a high to the personality chameleon. He's always welcome on the show, to J. Jonah Jameson, who's just a complete jerk to Peter Parker. As soon as that pretty girl came in, he was like, enchanted, my dear. Lord Byron, all of a sudden. Smooth operator.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, I had to laugh. I don't know if that'll get my silly Spidey moment, but I thought this Jameson, man, he is whatever he needs to be at any given moment, isn't he?
Yeah, we got one chameleon in the Spider-Man Rogues Gallery, but J. Jonah Jameson, he is another chameleon unto himself.
Loved it. I love the banter between him and Peter, but that'll just be my high because we've covered the pure tenacity that is Hydro Man.
Definitely. You know, once we're talking, let's talk about Jonah there and that area. I do love it seeing him, you know, finally getting a hold of Peter, getting him back on. Never skipped a beat on where the relationship was at, and I liked it when Robbie busts into the door and is, oh, hey, Pete, you know, and she's like, welcome back. Boom. Let's go ahead and do this. So like, oh, wow. You know, I thought it was pretty fun. And, you know, Robbie didn't skip a beat either. It's just everybody is getting back to the way it worked and all that.
We might need to talk to Robbie about the yellow shirt with red tie combo. I mean, unless you're like the lead manager for the day shift at McDonald's.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's working. But
that's right. Well, it works for Ronald McDonald. But
anytime Jonah Jameson is dressed better than Robbie Robertson, I don't like it.
I will say, just to tack onto your point, Pat, I also thought it was funny when Jonah says, just to be clear, it's freelance. No, you know, you're not salaried here. So to me, that was like
typical.
Just back to how things were.
Yeah, didn't skip a beat there.
That is kind of his way of saying I missed you, Pete. It's just, you know, being who he always is.
Yeah. All right. Well, now that round one's gone and over with, let's go ahead and get into round two. Jason, do you got another high, low, or what the?
Well, while the character of Hydro Man's about a mile wide and an inch deep, I'd say there's not a whole lot to him, to Jared's point. He's just an angry guy that's angry at the world, and we kind of see that in his interaction with his on again, off again girlfriend at that bar. I will say that on the page, the action effects of his powers actually look pretty cool. I dug the fight scenes and the action between Spider-Man and Hydro Man. So interesting character as far as the power set goes. Maybe at least coming out of the gate. I don't know how much Hydro Man we're going to see in the future, but not a lot of meat to the character there, but visually pretty cool.
So you're saying he's shallow?
I
gotta go one more. Okay.
Perhaps maybe there is someone in the comments or in our live chat that could maybe give us a little more information on Hydro Man. Does he show up later? Since Delvin's not here and has that, you know, Spider-Man depth, perhaps we have somebody else that can help us out. And speaking about in the chat, if you are watching and along with us live right now, go ahead and get some of your comments in the chat. Once we get done with Jarrett, we'll go into the chat to see what some of your thoughts are. Jarrett.
Sir.
High, low, or what the?
I'm doing a great job of repeating Jason, because my next major note was how artistically engaging water fights are. You got a lot of places you can go with that, and they used a lot of it.
You left your notes out.
I clearly left my notes out. So let me skip to the end of the water fight. I think it was a really good Spider-Man Peter Parker moment when he basically just destroys him. Like he's just gone. And even Spider-Man was like, man, I didn't mean for this to happen. I think he's really worried that he killed him. And because, you know, he's like, man, if you can hear me, man, I wish you the best of luck. You know, it's very Peter Parker. It's very
sure.
He's still worried about the guy. So yeah, I liked that. That'll be a high for me.
Let off some steam, Morris.
I don't think it's like he didn't really evaporate him too much. It's just that he powered him down to where he can't, you know, pull himself together again.
Yeah, I think we as the readers understand that, but at this point, Peter's never fought this guy before, so Peter's like, what the heck did I just do?
Doing that Homer Simpson meme of backing back into the bushes.
Uh-oh.
I just murdered this guy. I don't know.
Yeah, what I liked too is that Peter was comparing him somewhat to the Sandman, you know?
Yeah, they are very similar.
Very similar in power sets, I guess, but you know, one's sand, the other is the is the opposite. And I thought that was kind of interesting play on that, and how he figured out how to, dehydrate him again. Yeah, he did it with the Submariner before. This guy's a little bit different though, because he had some access to water. I think he just didn't understand his newly formed powers enough to understand.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Hey, I can't do anything here. My fear was when he got him on top of a building, in the older days, they had those big water towers on the buildings. Mm-hmm. I'm like, what are you doing bringing them up to a place like that? And I was gonna see like the big water tower go crashing down. Now he just made this guy super, huge and all water powerful that he's, and it comes out at him and splash.
Well, like you said, I think as Hydro Man learns his power set, that would be a tactic for the future. Right now, he just kind of tried to go toe to toe and didn't realize that Spider-Man was using those hot roofs, to his advantage.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Rookie mistake.
Going to the chat.
Let's go ahead and go into the chat and see what we got.
We've got Auburn Elvis said as a kid, he was really worried when the guy went through the propeller as Hydro Man first got his powers. And that was an interesting moment because, we're not quite sure, what happened to him. How did he make it through that propeller? How was he not hurt? Well, now we know, right? He also agreed with us that he liked the J. Jonah Jameson moment. Auburn Elvis also chips in with a what the? Did you pick up on how many relatives of Deb called her about her uncle hanging out with Spider-Man? It's like old school social media going on there. I did not. I will have to go back and look at that. Interesting. And Auburn Elvis does say that Hydro Man will team up with Sandman in the future, and it goes interestingly.
Oh, okay.
So a little bit of that, and he also teases that a water tower may come into the play next time we see him.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of teases going on. We all mentioned we like the water action, and Kathy asked a very poignant question. What about if it's underwater action in a James Bond movie?
Love it.
What? Me and Pat start to
just woke up. Oh, yeah.
It's underwater action and license to kill. Jared, saying you don't like License to Kill. That's what I'm hearing.
I mean, it's really well shot and it's brief and it doesn't overstay its well. You know what? This is not Honor Majesty's Secret Podcast.
We're crossing the pods.
We're crossing the pods. We're crossing streams.
Good one.
Well, hopefully we will get a steady stream of Hydro Man in the future, or they'll sprinkle some. I got a lot of these.
Oh, speaking about streams, we are live streaming, so make sure you're joining us in the chats on these live streams when we do it to get yourself into the comments. We definitely appreciate and seeing them.
As a reminder, being in the comments gets you in for the raffle at the end of the show. You might win some free stuff. And at this moment, I have Auburn Elvis, Courtney, Head Speaks, Chola, Jim Meal, and Kathy. If anybody else has joined, I have missed you in the chat. Just say hello in the chat and make sure I get you on the raffle. Back to you, Ben.
All right. Well, this one feels kind of like, I don't want to say too much filler because he did introduce somebody new and we got some more of the characterization and story going on. More of the background, now we know that he possibly is back working, on the Bugle somewhat. I'm not going to say he's working there because Jonah says no.
He's back. He's back. We know he's back.
But also, man, his relationship with Debbie, that girl, she is just like not getting the attention I think she needs or deserves, Jonah
about to give it to her.
Jonah
the attention, that is.
There's that Jason mentality there. Yep.
Immature Jason.
The attention. That's what I meant. Is you already wrong.
But anyway, what do you guys think about those two situations?
What happened to Marla? That was my question.
I was thinking that too.
He seemed really interested in Debbie, and it's like, wait a minute. I thought he and Marla had a little thing going on.
I thought so too. I was wondering where Marla was as well.
I did, because I went back and read the previous one because I missed that that episode just to see like was there something up with Marla in this one? And I don't know. It seems like maybe she's just been kind of, I don't know, that plot point's been put down or something.
Yeah, I would assume may see her again once they build another Spidey Slayer or something. Or
I think she'll be back around. I think she's still around. I don't think he was making any serious plays for Debbie. I think he was just being charming.
Yeah, he was just being a nice guy,
But I've never seen him be charming with any other.
It's nice juxtaposition though to see it, with Peter in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Peter's probably like,
what's happening here?
Oh, well, does anybody have anything else on this issue? Like I said, it was kind of, filler. It's like it was kind of like a good glass. Was it like a good glass of water that would drink it and kind of fill you up? Or did it not? I guess we can soon find out when we get to the ratings on this issue.
Oh.
So I think with that, let's go ahead and jump into the ratings. Just a reminder in the chat, go ahead and start putting in your ratings once I go through it, and we will get to you after we go through the round. As a reminder, it is a 1 through 5 rating. 5 is you loved it. It tickled your unwetting feathers. It really made you feel good.
Powder dry feathers.
Ooh, I love it. 4, you really liked it. 3, liked it. 2, didn't like it. And 1, you hated it. You made your tummy feathers soggy. Oh. Somebody turn off that faucet. Let's go ahead and find out. Jared, 1 through 5, how would you rate this?
At the end of it, I was like feeling it at another 3 with a smile on my face. But then I was like, you know what? First appearance of Hydro Man. Bump up. I'm giving it a 4.
Ooh, not a strong 3, but going right to the 4. All right.
I'd also like to recommend we add Jim Meal as a regular host of the show, because in the chat, he just said, I didn't read it. And I don't know if he knows that that's our ongoing joke, but welcome to LBC family.
Yes.
Well, great. He took my bit now. Now I can't do it.
Good one, Jim. Good
Albert
one.
Elvis is also having a big discussion in the chat about Debbie Whitman and her wardrobe, but he's only discussing it with himself.
Maybe,
it's entertaining. I'll give it back.
Maybe Albert Elvis, little Jason will join you in that chat later on. Jason, 1 through 5.
I'm at a 3 with this one. It's a solid 3. At the end of the day, it is a filler. It's first appearance at Hydra Man, even though, that appearance was somewhat so-so. I will say that I am interested in Deb, because in all my Spider-Man knowledge, this is the first time I've really encountered or been aware of this character. She's actually kind of interesting. It's kind of sad how she and Peter seem to be almost like star-crossed lovers. Every time they try to go out on a date or something pops up. But she seems like a very nice person and a very caring person, and I like her.
Yeah, no, you know what? I do agree with you, and I'm interested in that storyline with her because, when you think of top name Peter Parker girls, right? Does her name come up in a conversation a lot? I mean, she does here because we're in that era of it, right? But, you always have Gwen Stacy, Mary Jane. Those are the 2 that people talk about. Besides Aunt May, but what about the rest of Peter's, friends that are lady friends, So it makes me wonder, how long does she stick around? What happens? And will she ever find the right person? It's like I'm watching The Bachelorette, and she's like, Peter's not the right one for her.
Yeah, he's not getting that rose, I don't think.
But all right. Well, with that, I am going to rate this one. I'm at a 3. I'm at a strong 3. So I will join you at 3. I see why Jared definitely gave it a 4 for the first appearance of Hydro Man. I thought that was cool that we, got to see a first appearance again happening here in the comics. I really enjoy that. But it just wasn't enough to get me motivated or, to bring me up to that. I was more interested in the littler side stories that were going on in this one to help move that kind of bigger and broader story going on. With that, let's go ahead and check in to the chat to see what their ratings were.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We've got some ratings here in the chat. Auburn Nova scores it a 5. Any of the deductions are offset by Jameson's smoothness. Hot Deb. He likes that Deb. Fighting using smarts along with his powers to beat a potentially formidable opponent. Courtney also gave it a 5 that she bumped up from a 4. Jim Meal didn't read it, and I love it. And I think that's it for people tossing it. Head Speaks throws in with another, what I'm going to round up to a 4.
So it looks like we're rating it low. We're the boat anchors, Pat.
That is true. You know what? I'm happy with the decision I made on this one. It's not bad. It wasn't a bad filler, so to say. So
my tummy feathers are dry.
Yeah. I think I dried them out good enough for this one. All right. Well, we have our newer segment going on here right now. It's called Karma Count with Auburn Elvis, who's in the chat. Thank you, Auburn Elvis. So let's go ahead and give his Karma Count a listen for this issue.
All right. I'm going to unmute the channel for you.
Okay.
You might have got it on your own. Just try to be helpful.
Nope. I appreciate the help as I need to bring up the... And you know what? I love that theme music, man. That I would give a 5 or more. That like I would listen when I was, side calling everybody behind the scenes. I was editing the latest one for that'll be out on the podcast 66. It'll be the first appearance of Karma Count. So just hearing that beat, I'm like, I replayed that a few different times. Like, yeah, I'm here. Listen to this beat, guys, and I want you to listen to
podcast. I don't have a choice.
Yeah.
We're all going to listen to it right here. Now.
I mean, it's good. Good job on that. And Albert Nevis having Joe do it. He really did you good here. So with that, let's go ahead and get into Karma Count.
I guess I'm your karma, and I love it. I can't get enough of it. There's nothing above it.
Hi Crusaders, this is fan of the show Auburn Elvis, and from time to time on the Longbox shows, the question of, can these superheroes improve their strength by working out, comes up. Well, according to the 1984 Marvel superhero role-playing game, they can, but it ain't easy. In the game, heroes gain and lose karma points for how heroic their actions are in the game. Karma can be saved up over time and spent to improve a hero's ability score. Improving the ability costs 10 times its current score. So, if Spider-Man wanted to improve his strength of 40 to a 41, it would cost him 400 karma points. And to give you an idea of how long it would take Spider-Man to earn that much karma, here's how much karma his actions in this issue would be worth. Amazing Spider-Man 212 starts off with a huge 40-point karma deduction as Spider-Man almost commits manslaughter. He then gains 5 karma for ending the live power cable danger and another 20 karma for rescuing Maury Bench from the ocean. Later on, Peter loses 5 karma for dumping Deb once again, but he gains 5 karma for getting pictures of Hydra Man for the Bugle. In the battle with Hydra Man, Spidey gains 5 karma for making some decent jokes and a whopping 75 points of karma when he finally defeats Hydra Man. So counting everything up, Spider-Man earns a total of 65 karma in this issue, which is not bad considering it began with him almost killing someone. And if Spidey were to not kill someone like this 5 more times, he'd have enough karma to improve his strength from a 40 to a 41. I'm Auburn Elvis. Thank you very much for listening to this Karma Count. Now back to the Crusade.
I guess I'm your karma, and I love it. I can't get enough of it. There's nothing above it.
I love that.
Huh? That was something.
It was. I loved it. I couldn't get enough of it. That's a sweet beat.
Good job, Auburn Elvis.
Yeah. definitely.
Do you get karma for saving somebody from the water if you put them in the water in the first place?
He also said he saved Bench from the ocean, but after getting that power set, I feel like he saved the ocean from Bench.
True.
So Jared's deep thoughts.
Mm.
So there's another one.
Deep.
If you guys can fathom that.
I don't
if
think
we're on the
that-
same wavelength.
I don't think they're in the
Oh.
same league.
Whoa. They just keep coming.
Yeah, it is
nonstop,
flowing. They're
nonstop.
just flowing. There's like a whole cycle of it. There's like a whole. Never mind.
All right. Well, thank you, Albert Elvis, for your segment, Karma Count. It's a welcome addition to the show.
If you want to be like Auburn Elvis and do an addition to the show, all you have to do is become a Patreon member at $75 a month. I tried.
You try, yeah.
You
know
like,
what? We still need another segment for the next part of the show as well, too. So, and don't forget, we are looking for the new trophy to replace the Halley. Not that we could replace it, but
No, I won, man. I won.
Contested.
yeah. All right. Well, that's going to bring us to the end of this part of the show. You got a comment or a question? Send us an email at contact@longboxcrusade.com or make a comment on the Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook page. You can also leave us a voicemail that we just might play on the show. Leave us a message at 707-532-5269. That's 707-532-LBOX.
Pick up the phone. There's a race to the mute button.
We will be right back. All right. I'm just editing the script, so person most Jared.
I fully support this award.
I think it's, yeah, I don't know if I'd like that one.
No one wants to live
it
this
seems
life.
like it's such a small that it could accomplish that. Yeah.
No, you don't want this life, trust me.
All right. Well, I'm just gotta add. Okay, I did add it. Okay, never mind, Pat. You did it.
All right. While you're getting your stuff ready, I'll just remind everybody, if you're in the chat, please go ahead and like this video on YouTube. We'd really appreciate it. And if you're not in the chat, but you're kind of lurking, just say hello in the chat so I can add you to the raffle at the end, so you can win something cool. I just saw Delvin hit the chat saying hopefully everyone liked the synopsis. It was excellent, Delvin. We all got a good chuckle out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for sending that in.
Well done. Well done.
Ed Speak says he muted the synopsis. I don't even know how you do that, but that's anyways. These are the people I have in the chat right now who are in the raffle. I got Auburn Elvis, Courtney, Head Speaks, Chola, Jim Meal, and Kathy. If I missed you, just say hey in the chat. Delvin, I know you're in the chat, but as a club member, you're not you're not in the running. We've had to kick TJ Cristados out so many times and just be wrong.
Yeah, you know what? What I did with that is instead of winning him here, I just took on another Halley. So I think
I brought back the Halley pain.
Yep. So I really think I won the Halleys, but
I regret bringing this back.
Yeah, wow. This is a bit that won't die.
No.
Uh-oh, there's beef in the chat between Aaron and Delvin.
Oh,
said, I'll mute your synopsis. Oh, I love it.
See, there's that's what's fun about doing these shows live. There's the chat going on in the chat with not even we're aware of. So definitely a good time. There's lots of love in the chat, so we do appreciate it. The good community that we brought here.
Yeah, I do love our chat community. Sincerely, you guys are really awesome.
Mm-hmm.
They show up all the time. All right, well, let's go ahead and get started with the next issue.
Is it going to be a Flash or maybe a Daffy Duck?
Not if we're lucky.
No, not at all. What's going to happen is it's going to take us to the future and then the past. I just don't get it. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. All right. Welcome back from the break. Now let's get to the second featured comic for this episode, which is determined by our Crusader Club members. Club members get to vote on this segment using the online poll only available on the Longbox Crusade page at patreon.com. As always, we want to thank our Crusader Club members for voting to help determine the programming for this show. If you want to get in on the voting and all of the other amazing benefits of being a Crusader Club member, just head on over to patreon.com and search for Longbox Crusade. There you can join us for as little as $1 a month to help determine which each episode's second feature will be. For this episode, the Crusader Club members selected Uncanny X-Men number 141. Woo! The credits for this issue are provided by Mike's Amazing World of Comics website. And give me a moment here. Oh, Jared, you did it. Thank you. My man behind the scenes. All right. Publisher was Marvel. It got a cover date of January 1981. Its on sale date was October 21st, 1980. Cover price was in the club with 50 cents. Editor is Louise Simonson. Writer is Chris S. Claremont.
Esquire.
Plotter and pencils go to John L. Byrne. Inker is Terry Austin. Letterer is Tom Orzechowski. And we have the Coloring Bad colorist, Glenn Sweet.
Ow, ow, ow.
We love Glennis.
I love it. Yeah, I love Glennis. Man, just the colors are awesome. Anyway, we'll get to that. This is reprinted, and hold on, folks. This is a hefty list of reprints, and everybody probably knows why. It's Uncanny X-Men. You can find this reprinted in Uncanny X-Men in Days of Future Past number 1 from 1989. In Greatest Battles of the X-Men trade paperback. Essential X-Men Volume 2 trade paperback. Marvel Collectible Classics X-Men number 2. 100 Greatest Marvels of All Time number 1. X-Men Days of Future Past trade paperback from 2004. Marvel Masters Volume 90 of the Uncanny X-Men Volume 6 hardcover from 2008. Uncanny X-Men Omnibus Volume 2 hardcover from 2014. And X-Men Epic Collection, The Fate of the Phoenix trade paperback from 2021. So a lot of reprints of this one and where you can find it. So you can also find it on Marvel Unlimited. And we hope you read along with us as we go through reading these ourselves. Cover credits go to penciler John L. Byrne and inker Terry Austin. And speaking about the cover, let's go ahead and get a quick cover thoughts from Jared.
Here we go. The Marvel Comics banner is red with black letters. The orange corner box contains the heads of Wolverine, Colossus, Storm, Kitty Pryde, because I don't like to say Sprite, Nightcrawler, and Angel. The Uncanny X-Men logo is distressed, possibly aged, and it's white with black highlights. The main action is a classic, easily recognizable cover. It shows an aged Wolverine and Kitty Pryde caught in the spotlight, looking very fearful but aggressive. They're cornered. What makes the cover truly intriguing, aside from asking why are they older, is what else is in the spotlight. Huge posters showing the demise of the other X-Men. And I'm going to go through them all for fun on this one. Pat, your assignment is you're going to read all the ones that say slain. And every time you read a slain, I want you to go up an octave in your voice. Jason, you get to read the ones that say apprehended. And I want you to get more British with each time you say apprehended. So I'll say the name of the character. All right. Pat, you got slain. Jason, you're on apprehended. Pat, your voice gets higher as we go. Jason, yours gets more British.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I thought I had to say the name of the character. So no, hold on.
That's all right. That's all right. I'm going to say, I'll kick it off. I'm going to say Cyclops. You probably want to start at your regular voice because it's going to get pretty high. Right,
that's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
All right. Cyclops.
Slain.
Colossus.
Apprehended.
Storm.
Apprehended.
Nightcrawler.
Slain.
Angel.
Oh, slain.
Iceman.
Expired.
This guy's slain. Got to say it higher.
Slain.
Beast.
Slain.
High. I need it higher.
Oh, slain.
Sprite. There you go. Sprite.
Apprehended.
Magneto.
Apprehended, oi.
I think that's Scarlet Witch for you, Pat.
Slain.
I think that's Havoc for you, Jason.
Shoot, I used my best one. I thought I was done.
Come on.
Apprehended, oi.
And Banshee. There we go. You brought it home.
Oh, man.
Good job, team.
I like doing the expired. Expired. Just like that commercial. Expired. Like I'm going through.
No one out here says expired.
Too bad.
That was doing his own rules.
Yeah.
He doesn't read good.
All right. Well, with that, let's go ahead and get into some quick cover thoughts. And we'll go to Jason. What's your thoughts on this cover?
This cover really strikes a chord with me. I mean, I was about 10 years old when this was on the newsstands, and this is one that just grabbed my attention right away. Talking about seeing the distressed and cracked uncanny X-Men, the old Wolverine and the mature Kate Pryde in the foreground, the caught in the spotlight look, the iconic Wolverine protecting Kitty Pryde, that whole pose, and then just what the heck is going on here with the wanted posters behind them. It all comes together, makes you want to pick up and read the book. Look for a high score from me.
Jason or Jared, what's your thoughts?
This might surprise you, but much like Jason, this is an intriguing cover. It tells a tale in of itself. You see it on a spinner rack, and it says, "Pick me up and read me," because there's just so many questions. Why are they older? Okay, so I guess this is the future. Okay, if it's the future, what happened to all these? All my favorite characters are slain or apprehended, governor. You know, so what is going on? You know, it's just an absolute curveball from what we saw last issue. It's a whole new story arc, and the cover just really sells that. So yeah, what about you, Pat?
Yeah, I am definitely feeling what you're saying here. When you saw this cover, and I was surprised after we got done reading the one before. I thought, oh, maybe there'd be a few more issues before we get into it, but no, it's just like, bam, we're into this cover, and you're right away, you know it, just because of how iconic this cover is and what it does. But it really pinpoints it all, you know, and I think that spotlight just, you know, centering it on what's happening, and you see older Wolverine, and just there's a lot going on this cover, pencil wise and inking wise and color wise. I think it all just gels right together for me. What do we have in the chat?
All right, in the chat, we have Albernell says it's a good cover, but are we really supposed to believe the Sentinels take the time to print up giant wanted posters like that? Maybe. They're not really wanted, too. They're slain! Slain! Sorry, I couldn't get high enough.
Apprehended.
Jim Beal says it's a great cover. It has been homaged many times, and that is correct. Albernell says he will give it up for the coloring and inking tricks used here to show where the spotlight ends, and he hopes I mentioned that. I didn't, but he is correct. They are using some thin and thick inking techniques to show brighter light features, so that's a good catch by Albernovus. And I think that we just have, you know, general good thoughts about it. We had a deep thought in there about who is to the left of Havoc on the bottom row, and all you can see is RIS in their name. And my best guess was Christopher Robin from the 100 Acre Wood has been slain.
I'm going to guess Polaris.
That's a good guess. She's next to Havoc and ends in RIS. I like that, Jason. Good
guess. Good guess.
It's not as funny as Christopher Robin, but it works.
Christopher Robin doesn't even work. Come on.
It's got RIS in his name.
I guess. All right.
You know what I like too is to right by Magneto, you have like another poster or something that's there, and it has, Byrne and Austin's name, kind of like
poking out.
Yeah, I thought that was cool.
Yeah, that's really definitely made it part of the image. So yeah, it seems like everybody in the chat's big on this cover. I think everybody here is big on this cover. I think we're gonna get some good scores.
Yeah, definitely. Well, with that, let's go ahead and get into the cover rating for this issue. Again, it's a 1 through 5 rating on the LBC. 5 is you loved it. It gave you a ring to swing from. 4, you really liked it. 3, liked it. 2, didn't like it. And 1, you hated it. It turned you into a baby.
Apprehended.
People in the chat, go ahead and get us your numbers as we go through the team here. And we will start with Jason, 1 through 5.
Well, gentlemen, I think this is going to be my first 5 of 2023. Our criteria is, would you hang it on your wall? Absolutely. This is iconic. This is well drawn, and just, enough said. 5 from me.
Jarrett.
I'm going to join him. I'm giving it a 5. Yeah, it's the pantheon of X-Men covers. It's awesome. Delvin's not here. I'm quite certain he would have gone with 5 because he does literally have this framed and hanging on his wall.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember if I bought it for him or not, but I got to say, I've seen it in that frame hanging on his wall before, and it looks really good. Yeah. So, I've seen it framed and hanging on a wall, and it's a great look. So I can't do anything lower than a 5.
Does he have the issue, or is it the
it's like a blown up, redone poster, cool. Nice. I'm starting to think I might remember where I got it. I think I remember, but anyways, it looks good, and it's an absolute 5. So Pat, bring it home, and I'll let you know what people in the chat have got when you're done.
All right. Well, for us here at the LBC, I'm going to say everybody get up now, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 will make you get down now.
Gotta get down.
Yeah, this is definitely a 5. If I could hang it on a poster like Delvin, I would. So maybe next time I know Delvin's, I might grab that and bring it back for mine.
Yeah, good thinking.
What did the folks in the chat have to?
All right, we got Head Speaks giving it a 6. I don't know that's new, but I'll give it to him. Sure.
Yeah. Well,
Jim Meals got it at a 5. Says it's iconic. Kathy's got it at a 4. Chola's got it as a 5. Auburn says I give it a 4, bumped up to a 5 for the color and the inking. Of course, I mentioned Delvin gives this one a 5, and Auburn Elvis declares it a 5 party. Oh, okay. And he did. Delvin did clarify. It was not from me. It was from our mutual friend and Crusaders Club member Ezra Gallo.
Okay.
Gave this as a wedding gift. I remember now because he got that, and I got the marriage of the Fantastic Four, Reed and Sue. Both very nice prints. That's where I've seen it before. That's why I know what it looks like unframed. So yeah, got to give props to Ezra on that one, and Delvin's got it in this bronze colored frame. This cover looks amazing on Delvin as well.
Oh, very.
So anyway, he gives it a 5.
Very cool. Nice. All right. Well, with that, with the cover description and rating out of the way, let's head on over to Jason to give us a story synopsis.
Quite a lot going on in this one, folks. I tried to keep it brief. Here we go.
And that's why I didn't say short synopsis.
I appreciate that. I noticed you edited yourself. You know, it looked shorter on the email when I sent it to you.
Bum, 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 bum.
That's funny. Okay. Serious. All right. The title is Days of Future Past. Our story opens in a dystopic future where a middle-aged Kate Pryde is a member of an underground resistance movement. Try that again. An underground resistance movement comprised of Wolverine, Storm, her husband Colossus, and an all-grown-up Franklin Richards, along with a new telepath named Rachel. It seems that in the future, the Sentinels have taken over and are systematically killing all mutants. In a desperate attempt to stop the carnage, Rachel manages to send the mind and memories of Kate back to the past, where her younger self is undergoing her first training session in the Danger Room. Now in her younger form, Kate manages to convince the team that the 0 point for this deranged future revolves around the murder of Senator Kelly, a leader in mutant opposition. In order to prevent this fate from coming to pass, the team must prevent his assassination. Meanwhile, in the future, Wolverine leads his resistance fighters in a last-ditch attempt to destroy the main Sentinel facility. The group is discovered by a patrolling group of automatons, and after a fierce battle, the mutants are victorious, but at the cost of the life of Franklin. In the issue's cliffhanger conclusion, our current-day heroes and Kate travel to Washington, D.C. to square off against the would-be assassins, Mystique and her new Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. Will our heroes be able to save Senator Kelly? Will Senator Kelly see the error of his ways? And how does Future Storm manage to keep them thighs in such great shape? That one's for you, Delvin. We will find out next issue. That wasn't too bad.
No, that was just perfect. There was a lot going on in this one. So thank you, Jason, for that brief but yet thorough synopsis. I think you covered it very well. With that, let's go ahead and find out, was it a first read or a reread as we get into the bric-a-brac? Jared, first read or a reread?
I'm going to need Jason to weigh in and let me know. I feel like this was laying around when we were kids and I read it. If we owned it when we were kids, then it's a reread. If Jason didn't get it until later in life, then it's a first read. So this is all hinging on Jason. I feel like I've read it, but am I just conflating memories with the movie? Because there's similarities here with the movie.
Oh, yeah.
So Jason, did we own it as kids?
I don't think we owned it as kids. I can kind of remember when I started buying X-Men, and it started a little bit later after this one, like in the, maybe even like in the 180s when I really started purchasing X-Men. Okay. So I don't think we did. I think at this point I was still pretty much buying Star Wars and Indiana Jones.
Okay, so probably a first read then for me, Pat. I don't think it's going to matter. I really don't, but
it doesn't.
No.
First read for me, Pat.
Well, it is, believe it or not, it's a first read for me as well too. You know, you hear the stories, you kind of know the stories now that you've seen the movie, but it was really a first read for me, actually reading it from, cover to the end of it. So with that, Jason, first read or a reread?
Sorry, fellas, this is a reread for me. I've read this one several times. It's one of my favorites.
All right. Well, I'd be interested. Delvin, was this a first read or a reread? Let us know in the chat. With that, let's go ahead and get into some rounds of high, lows, or what does. And we'll go to Jared for your first high, low, or what the. Interested to hear what you think on this one, Jared, because, knowing that you're not the most avid.
Not the most avid X-Men fan.
Yeah, but, this where you at on this story? Just interested.
Well, Pat, let's start with some basics here. All right. First of all, I finished it. So it's minimum of a 2, right? You know that going it before we even get to the scoring. But
2,
no,
yay!
Minimum. We'll see where I end up scoring it. No, I can easily do highs. It's a compelling story. It's something different we haven't seen before, yet it brings it back to the team we are familiar with by the end. It starts with that cover of making us ask questions, and then it launches us right into this dystopic future, and we have a bazillion other questions that are kind of slowly getting answered. We're filling in the blanks. So it's a really good read. I didn't think it was still a little overly wordy, but not not to the level that I would complain about in the past. So I think he told it a little more briskly, and that's a broad brush high, I know, for the first one. I'll be more specific in round 2, but just to give you a feeling where I'm at, Pat, I'm feeling good on this one.
Okay. All right. I see your gauge slowly moving up here.
Just moving up on this issue.
Moving on up. Yep, definitely. Moving on up to the future side.
I want to address something in the chat. Kathy says I need someone to send it to me first so I can read it. This comic is fairly valuable. Not like, bazillions of dollars, but it's...
Yeah, I don't think you'd be sending this thing around.
141 is kind of a key that people like to have, and it's a pretty valuable comic.
Definitely.
But like Pat was saying, you can get it in many trades, and it's also on, if you have the Marvel Unlimited subscription, you can read it there.
That's how I read it. I read it on Marvel Unlimited.
All right. Jason, high, low, or what the?
I'm going to start with the high, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the plot. As I mentioned, I've read this several times. This is the first time I've really read it and couldn't help but compare it to Terminator, the original movie. And bearing in mind that this came out like 3 years before the Terminator movie came out, I was like, there's a lot of plot similarities here. And I just really have to give a tip of the cap to Chris Claremont for thinking through this pretty elaborate storyline and telling it in a way that's compelling and it makes sense. And if you told me that James Cameron got some influence from this comic book, I would not be totally surprised. So just the plot was very well thought out and very interesting. And those time traveling story arcs can be a bit of a headache and a mess sometimes, but this wasn't that. I was able to track it really well. So just really well done with the plot.
Yeah, I will agree with you on the time tracking on this one. I had no problems understanding how it went. Right away in the beginning, they kind of tell you what's going on, and looking at it like, oh, okay, so that is an older looking kitty. And hats off to Byrne for taking these younger looking characters or and aging them well enough to really know who each one is. And seeing that, I was like, oh, wow, that's really cool. Because there's some good close-ups of them. And, Kitty does look old. You can see some, aging, some going on and all that. And, Wolverine, seeing him with the gray hair, I was like, oh, man, that guy looks tough.
Yeah, that leather jacket.
Out. Yeah, it's like, oh, so much. There's so much going on in this one. I think artwork wise as well too. So you know what? I got so much to say, but I want to I've been doing a lot here that I want to continue on with the art real quick. Just get that out of the way. Super, very good. Again, Byrne's storytelling that he's doing with here, Chris is probably telling him what he'd like to see and all that, but Byrne, you can just read some of this too without seeing the words and kind of understand what's happening, and just the detail in some of it. Like that first splash page, man, the detail of all the rubble and all that going on there is just unbelievable. The coloring helps play with the story, the mood and all that. So hats off to Byrne on this one. And
it's funny, like in over the years and decades of reading comics, sometimes you don't appreciate just how good the marriage between the art team and the writer is on a book until you go back and look at it like, wow, they really had lightning in a bottle here.
Yeah, and I would say this is definitely an issue that definitely shows that lightning that they have. And being the first time reader of this actual issue, you hear about it, the story and all that, but actually reading it and seeing it through all laid out on the page like that, man, there is definitely no doubt of why people have this one in such high regards on that part. All right, well, let's go get into another round 2. So after we're done with that, we'll go into some of the comments of our listeners in the chat. So get your thoughts out in the chat in your comments sections there. With that, Jared, or with that, let's go ahead and go into round 2 with Jason. High, low, or what the?
I'm going to go with another high. Surprise, surprise. I hadn't picked up on it before this read. The relationship between young Kitty Pryde as she's joining the X-Men and her reaction to Nightcrawler and his reaction to her reaction, which is probably pretty understandable. But you really get the sense that Kitty is just starting with this team, and there's kind of unease and maybe a little distrust between she and her fellow X-Men. Mm-hmm. And then the moment Kate comes into that body, and the first thing she does is just grab Nightcrawler and that bear hug, and just the joy in seeing him alive again. That tells you so much about what is going to happen through the arc of this book, and it lets you know that like everything's going to be okay here. This team is going to become a family, and Kitty is going to be a big part of that family. And just seeing that in this book just really brought a smile to my face.
I agree with you on that. I think Claremont, over the last few issues we were reading with Kitty, she has had that standoffish with Kirk, and and then they mentioned it in the beginning of this one again too, just so it's there again. But it did call back to those other issues for me. And then when Kate came in, it was like, oh, things have really changed, and made it feel good, I like that a lot. Jared, high, low, or what the?
I promised you a more specific high, and it's not too far off with what Jason was saying. Was the character of its development, but I'm going to specifically talk about Colossus, who has always been one of my favorites. Colossus, my bad. He's always been one of my favorites. It was really interesting to see how the dark times and apparently the death of him and Kitty's children affected him. I mean, he straight up said, "I've learned how to hate." Yeah. And he took down like an entire city block because he was so filled with hate. And I thought that was really powerful, because he's one of the reasons I've always liked Colossus is he tends to be more of the optimistic X-Men. The world has changed him, and it made me sad to see him like that. But it was powerful storytelling, because you mentioned how Byrne aged them in the way they look. This is Claremont aging them in the way they feel. And how the characters feel in this dark future. And it was just very striking. I'm not going to say I want to see more of a hate-filled Colossus, but it was striking to see a hate-filled Colossus.
Just to understand probably how powerful he can be, that he's not letting that in the other fights that he's not letting that anger just totally out, because that, whatever he's doing to beat somebody up, that ain't all his full level of power.
I've always thought, and that maybe that's why I always liked him too, is like I haven't read enough X-Men to ever see him truly unleashed. And I feel like if he does, he can get to like Hulk levels of destruction. But it was, I mean, we saw that here. He cranked it up a notch. So anyway, I thought that was neat. And that's just kind of one example, but I wanted to focus on that one example and be more specific in round 2. I do have a question though, but I can save it till we're done with our rounds. So I think you still have to go, Pat.
Yeah. Why don't we, I'm sure we have a few more things to kind of talk here, and we'll see what some of the folks in the chat have to say as well too. I want to continue off of what you were saying with Peter and Kate's. It's just weird, they call her Sprite, and I can't do that either. To me,
nobody calls her Sprite.
Never took.
Yeah.
Kitty.
So that was a hard stumbling point for me as it was going through, but just that knowing that, oh wow, they already tease that relationship a little bit, a little bit more, and the outcome you already kind of know a little bit, that I guess what it could be, right? And I thought that was really interesting. Like this whole story is like Claremont just taking things and just let me fast forward this and show you a glimpse of what possibly could be. And I found that really fascinating, and not only with those two and their relationship, but some of the other relationships that you see with the other characters. And then Magneto shows up. At first, they make it seem like it was going to be Charles, and then Kitty calls him Magneto, but yet they're all friends. And it seemed like there was, even Peter was being that nice guy to Magneto. I'm like, oh, there must have been some really hard times that they had to go through once the Sentinels came in and took all this over with that. So, hats off to the writing on this one. And it just blows my mind that you could conceptually come up with something like this from all that you've been doing and have me just understand it. And I want more. I want to read the next issue. I want to know what's going to happen and all that. Yeah, I know from the movie take and that, and just from hearsay and all that, recaps and timelines and all that. But I really want to dig in and find all these little different things that you normally, these little things you can pick out from later on. All right. Well, with that, Jared, did you have a question?
I did. I want to go to the chat real quick and mention that Auburn Elvis says that he feels like the Rogue Street Gang at the beginning was an homage to the Warriors movie that Jason and I have discussed on Action Film Face Off, and I think he's probably right.
Yeah, I could see that.
At first, I'll tell you, when they came in, I thought they might have been part of like a gang that
run by Rogue.
Had. Well, yeah, that's true. I was thinking Rogue. I'm like, oh, Rogue. Or I thought maybe. It was run by Wolverine, and then Wolverine steps in and says, "Hey, you can't mess with her." That's
Oh, okay. I thought like they were like all maybe working for Rogue, the character.
Yeah, that too.
That thought entered my mind briefly too. Yeah, especially because one had like a mohawk. And,
yeah.
Like, I don't know, I'm just gonna
But I think Auburn Elvis is probably onto something. He also says the happiest thing about this alternative future is Kitty and Pete having a stable relationship, which is always nice. Never been a big fan of the way the relationship started, but I do like them when they're older, having a good relationship. Head Speak says this is a great story. It's classic X-Men. And Jim Meal says this was a story that set off many timeline-related stories. It became an important part of X-Men lore. And I agree. With that, I did have a question, probably for Jason. I do remember as a kid reading these X Universe titles in the 80s, Rachel being a character in the X-Men, maybe New Mutants. I get them mixed up, but I was like, I wonder how they brought her back from the future. You have any insight on how she became a current day character?
I'm not exactly sure how she got back. I'd have to. I'm sure I read it, but I don't remember off the top of my head.
I mean, Auburn Elvis in the chat says that she comes through the time stream.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, her coming through the time stream. I remember because she was at one point in time like she was referred to as like a hound or a hunter, and her job, because she was telepathic, was to hunt mutants, and so she carried a lot of guilt with her about that, and so there were a lot of story elements that were tied to that, but I don't remember specifically how she got back. Maybe it'll be covered in the next issue. I don't know.
Well, all right,
because I don't think they really even identify who she is. I think this may actually be an early or the first appearance.
I suspect it may be
in this book, because I was kind of wondering the same thing. So sorry, I know that's a little bit anticlimactic, but I don't remember the specifics on how she gets back.
That's all right. We will definitely find out for sure. And I think, I'm just going to throw in some more other thoughts I had on this one real quick is, with Rachel, that was another character that we see, and then you see the new Brotherhood of Mutants as well too. I thought was really cool to see that, and how they kind of called each one out a little bit. I really like that too, and I liked
they
Blob.
get it. I'll get the phrase right. They get along about as well as the members of Cobra.
Yeah. I was like leaving that through, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is typical. They're all up for they're all up for each other, which is the stereotypical,
Yeah.
But still interesting, and interesting characters as well too. And I really liked it, and I'm interested to see where it goes from here.
I did a quick bit of research, by the way, whilst we were chatting, and yep, this is the first appearance of Rachel, X-Men 141. And I had it in my mind that somehow she was related to Scott or Jean, and I've cheated a little because when I looked that up, they refer to her as Rachel Summers, and I was like, okay, so there's something there.
Yeah,
interested to find out.
Mm-hmm,
I'm getting interested in X-Men. Everybody, get excited!
Whoa! All right. Well, does anybody have anything else you want to add about this that hasn't already been talked about? Or, I can totally understand. It is a iconic issue.
I will just say, just quickly, to reflect back to when we started reading these folks back in '95, just to see how far they've come along as a team.
Yeah.
And how much they're really starting to gel together. And then, it just makes it a little bit more interesting to see. Like, I want to see how they handle this fight with the new Brotherhood of Evil Mutants.
Yeah, definitely, because the team has changed, and the Brotherhood of Mutants has changed as well too. That goes back to my comment I was going to say with the Brotherhood of Mutants and the Blob. He's like, I recognize Angel, but I don't know who you guys are. You're not the X-Men I know.
And then someone had the goal to say, we're better.
I think that's what Wolverine said. Now we're better.
Boy, here we go.
There we go. Better back that up.
Yeah. You've been in jail. You don't got a TV going on. You don't know. But anyway, I thought that was really cool to see. So looking forward to the next few issues, if that is what the Crusaders Club choose, though. We will find out.
Choose it.
I have a feeling. I have a feeling, though. If Jared said if Jared says he's starting to like it, is he just using that to turn them away?
Psychological warfare.
Don't be duped by Jared's. All right. Well, with that, let's go ahead and get into our rating for this. Oh, wait. You know what? We really skipped over a lot.
We didn't do a silly Spidey moment.
No, we didn't.
I didn't know if we were still doing silly Spidey moments.
I totally skipped over that, man.
Replace that. I had a silly Spidey moment, but I was like, I guess.
I think we can blame this on Auburn Elvis in the karma count.
Yeah.
Blame it on me. I've totally skipped over that part of the. I wanted to get into rating so quickly. I guess you can leave it out. I think you guys mentioned some silliness on that one. So
you know what? For me, it was when the lady came in and she was like, "You're a loser, bench," and he was like, "Well, I do go with you, so I guess I am." I was like,
"Damn." Mine would have been that lady too. That she had some funny bits, and then she comes back. She buy me a steak and whatever. I'm like, oh yeah, well, I do the same thing. You buy me a steak or whatever.
All forgiven, yeah.
All right, we'll add that to outtakes. There you go. All right, well, let's go ahead and find out who went the extra mile in this issue. Jason. Who went the extra mile?
Well, it was more time than miles, but I got to give it to Kitty Pryde. She's really putting it on the line there and risking her life in her current present to go back to the past and try to save the future. Whew. Say that 3 times fast.
I'm dizzy right now just thinking about it. Jared, who is the extra mile in this one?
I hadn't thought about it. I probably should have because it's part of the show. But let's go with Kitty Pryde. She's the one holding it all together.
Sure.
So I'm gonna give it to Kitty Pryde with an honor. Speaking of holding it all together, I guess I have to give an honorable mention to Mystique because she's got like Cobra Commander levels of difficulty going on with what but they're somehow able to kind of quasi put a plan together. But no, ultimately, I think it has to be Kitty Pryde. She's the through line, I think, of this story. So yeah, I'm not going to call her Sprite though.
Can I give her an honorable mention?
Can you give one? Yes.
Yeah, because like looking at all the folks that have been killed or captured, the one X-Men they can't get, the Wolverine.
Yep.
Yeah, I easily could give it to Wolverine. Yep. You ain't catching him.
You ain't catching Wolverine.
And I'm gonna give mine because you guys kind of, Kitty, you want to say that. So I'm just gonna go off to another honorable mention, and that's gonna be Magneto. Even though they don't show it, you can just probably tell the power that he had to do in that to, did he make it? Did he not make it? From holding back.
That's true.
They came.
I guess we could have shout out to Franklin too.
Yeah.
He didn't make it.
What did he do though?
Well, Magneto is an attractive option. He has his positives. He has his negatives.
That's true. Oh, all right. Let's go ahead and get to the ratings for this issue. And it is a 1 through 5 rating. 5 is you loved it. It gave you a ring to swing from. 4, you really liked it. 3, liked it. 2, didn't like it. And 1, you hated it. It turned you into a baby. And I bet you Magneto probably wanted to go back to being a baby. All right, people in the chat, start putting your numbers in while we find out what the team here has thought of it. And we'll go to Jared. Let's start the bar with Jared.
Oh, here we go.
Let's get it
Pat,
over with.
Let me say this. 4.
Boom, boom.
For the first time, I'm going to give an X-Men book a 5. It's a 5. It has a perfect cover. It has perfect art throughout.
That's all we need for today, everybody. Thank you for coming.
It has a compelling storyline. This is the first issue of X-Men that I have read that has lived up, in my opinion, strictly my opinion, has lived up to its billing.
Wow.
It wasn't overly wordy. It was brisk. It was interesting. No. I'm in at a 5.
Let me ask you this. Because you're saying that it lived up to the wording and all that, is it because you've read the prior stuff before that helped build that?
Maybe so. I mean, it's not going to sound flattering, but like I've been so annoyed by things in the past, and I get to this one because like we saw the death of Jean Grey, and that was just so wordy and cumbersome, and she had such a. Remember, my big complaint was she had an unceremonious death. It was so random.
Yeah, shot in the back by a laser.
Yeah, it's like a random laser shot. Like what? No, maybe so, Pat. I can't say for sure. All I know is perfect cover, perfect art, good pacing, which has been my biggest complaint with Claremont. All right, I think the man is a creative genius, but I don't think I oftentimes think he lacks in execution. And here it all came together. So perfect 5 for me.
All right. I love to hear that score. So, Jason, where are you on the scale?
Well, I can't come in under my brother. So.
Jason's like, I like it at a 3.
No, in all seriousness, Jared hit all the high notes. It's a great plot. Jared's absolutely right. Chris can overstay his welcome sometimes on some of these story arcs. He doesn't do that, in my opinion, in this entire story arc. It's very lean, but very compelling, well thought out plot, beautiful artwork, great pacing. It's a classic. It's a 5. All
right. Well, I am agreeing with what both of you said. There's nothing more I can add to this. We've all said a lot about it, so it's gonna be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make you get down now. Get on now. Woo! This is 5, man. This is Does everything for you in this one.
From the chat, Delvin says he's driving and listening, and he said Jared giving the 5 almost made me faint. So safety first, Delvin.
Yep.
Eyes on the road.
Hands at 10 and 2.
10 and 2. 10 and 2. Oh man, it finally all came together.
Yeah.
Every bit of it. Every bit of it. This is you guys know better than me, but I'm gonna say it from Jared's point of view. This is Claremont and Byrne at the peak of their powers, right?
I was thinking about that. This is them really gelling together at this moment. So awesome. How many? Let's see what those in the chat gave.
Got you covered. It's a lot of 5s. We got Head Speaks at a 5, Jim Meal at a 5, Auburn Elvis at a 5, Delvin possibly in an automobile accident. I'm going to assume he also gives it a 5.
And a 5-car pileup.
Wishing him the best. Just for some additional info, our behind the scenes reporter, Auburn Elvis is going to be like that weatherman, like at the Weather Channel, when they cut to him and he's out in the storm, just like reporting, he's interviewing the storm. He's out there. He said, I read how Rachel got into the 616 timeline. Kitty's mind comes back to her timeline. And even though Kate stopped the assassination, the future still exists. So Rachel uses her powers to send her whole body and mind through the time stream.
Thanks for spoiling it, Auburn Elvis.
I would say spoiler, but I don't understand how that's a very Claremontian thing, apparently, that we're going to see in the future. But that's all in the past. Huh?
All right. Oh, ooh. That's all just water under the bridge.
Well, yeah. Kathy also says she has not read it.
Someday, Kathy, someday. All right. Well, thank you, those in the chat. We do really appreciate you chatting along and playing along with us. So that'll bring this part to the end of the show. You got a comment or a question, send us an email at contact@longboxcrusade.com or make a comment on the Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook page. You can also give us a call and leave a voice message that we might play on the show later on in the show. After we get through all the comments, there's a spot for voicemail, and we would love to continue to add more messages to the show. Just leave us a message. Just leave us a message by calling 707-532-5269. That is 707-532-LBOX.
Pick up the
phone, governor.
Ring-a-dangy. Ring-a-dangy. It's for you.
Train. We will be right back. All right.
Home stretch.
Let's stretch it out here and move it right along. Anybody want to got this part?
I'm on it.
You're on it. Okay.
Here we go. Welcome back from the break. Let's get into the feedback part of the show where we share your comments, emails, questions, shares, all that stuff in a segment called Crusader Comments. We're thrilled to kick off these comments with special shout outs to Crusaders Club members. These are the fine folks who have joined our crusade. They enjoy early access to special long box episodes. They get to vote to determine show content. As you heard today, they picked this X-Men comic and so much more. These are the folks reaping the benefit and giving much appreciated support to the show. Pat, would you kick us off, please?
I certainly will. And Helica Wolf.
Ow. Auburn Elvis.
Bill Beer.
Blast it or stash it.
Braxton Underwood.
Captain Entropy.
Clinton Robinson.
Dave Collins. Battle Wagon.
Ezra Gallo. Great gift giver.
Gerald Green.
Jason Lady.
Jason Keene.
Jeremy L.
Jim Jarman. I hope you like Jim Jarman too.
Jim Meal.
Joe Thomas.
John Watson.
Josh Strickland.
Candace Ward.
Captivating Kathy Bright, the MVP.
Mark Ross, a.k.a. Cluck Trent.
Maxwell Traver.
Michael Wagner.
Miranda W.
P.D. Devons.
Paul Hicks.
Rick from Jeff and Rick Present.
Rob Morgan,
Ryan Daly,
Samantha Maney,
Sean Urbanski,
Spidey 67,
Steve Cronin,
Spreadsheets,
Tim Price,
Tony Pennington,
and Toronto Cop.
If we miss anyone on the list, we apologize. Keep in mind we record these episodes well in advance of release, so if you're a recent edition, we will add you soon. Just no worries about it. You can always send an email to contact@longboxcrusade.com. We'll get it straightened out. You can also send your recipes to contact@longboxcrusade.com, and we will try them on the show, which is a bit we did in the first couple of years of the show, and it kind of faded out. But gosh dang it, send us a recipe, contact@longboxcrusade.com. We will eat it on the show and let you know what we think. Jared brings back old bits. Where the hell was I? There we go. As a reminder, you can become a Crusaders Club member by heading over to patreon.com/longboxcrusade for as little as $1 a month. You get access to the amazing world of the Creators Club. Come check it out. How much access?
Well, Jared, you can get all the access.
All the access.
Like, some people just say some.
Mm-hmm.
Some people say most of the access, but no. Oh, it's all the access.
All the
And
Rick
the only way
Heineken knows it's all the access. He's just joined us in the chat.
Yeah, Rick knows all the access. I mean, and you don't believe? Come and check it out, right?
I've heard that it's all the access.
Absolutely. You know what? In these tough times, if you don't have $1 a month, we understand that too. How about just giving us a good, favorable review on your favorite podcast platform or on YouTube? Maybe go check out and see some of these podcasts we've posted on YouTube. Give them a thumbs up, write a comment. Man, that's really appreciated. All right, let's get into our shares and our retweets from Amazing Spider-Man Chronicles episode 65, where we were in July of 1980 looking at Amazing Spider-Man number 209 and X-Men 138. These are the folks who did the share or the retweet, spread that word. So go ahead, Bet.
I'm just laughing at Rick's chat in the comment. That's true. That's part of all the access. Really, it is.
Rick said you even get a bed with a cat at Weasel Skull's house.
That's true. That's true.
That's
how many folks do we have in this chat now? Like 8.
Yeah, there we go.
I've got enough for everybody can have a cat.
There you go. You get a cat. You get a cat. Everybody gets a cat.
Meow. You're all winners. Meow.
Anyway, Pat, kick off this shared retweet list for us. And just as a reminder, for all those out there who are doing the likes and the thumbs up, we love you. The list just got really long, and we're really happy about that. So we're just reading the people who share and retweet now and really spreading the word, but we still love you folks who are giving us likes. So who are those shares and retweets people, Pat?
Well, I'm going to start us off with Fam Film Fridays podcast.
All right, I'll follow it up with Days of High Adventure podcast.
Between the Pages blog.
A Relatively Geeky Podcast Network.
The Bat Pod.
Max Reads Comics.
And the one, the only, the Dame Deborah Smith.
Ah, yes. Feel warm and fulfilled inside now. All right, we got an email from Crusaders Club member Captain Entropy. And that's in regards to X-Men number 138, and more specifically, Comics for Courage. Captain Entropy writes, Gents, I wrote the email below on the Saturday after Thanksgiving, and I thought I'd send it, but it was stuck in my outbox. So we've been waiting on this one. It's emails from future past. All right. Here's hoping late is truly better than never. Happy New Year. And then he goes on to say, Crusaders, thanks for another fun episode of Amazing Spider-Man Chronicles. Regarding X-Men number 138, this was my third X-Men comic, so I really needed the history lesson, and I really enjoyed it. It was 1980, so I was fine with all those words. I think all comics writers were wannabe novelists back then. And now they're wannabe screenwriters. So I'm fine with either approach if they do it well and things keep moving. And then he goes on to share a picture with us of some long boxes of comics. Here are some pictures. Oh, I stand corrected. Short boxes. Here are some pictures of short boxes of comics in the Support Our Troops lobby. No offense regarding the short boxes, because, we're Longbox Crusade. They're just less unwieldy, more wieldy, whatever. Anyway, I donated these and delivered them earlier this year. I was not wearing anything to conceal my true identity, which is already obscure and uninteresting, so I'm not in the photo. The Support Our Troops crew, they were all at lunch, so I left the boxes of comics there in the lobby with a note. They sent me a very nice thank you letter in which they told me how much the service members would enjoy the comics. I think they will too. I know I enjoyed it when I got comics in a care package, also chocolate, beef jerky, sunflower seeds, but I digress. I have to switch my food thoughts to game snacks and now. Try that again. I have to switch my food thoughts to game snacks and prep to watch the big game this afternoon. I have a feeling some of you might be doing the same. I wish you all the best of luck. You know how I'll sign off, even though I know you'll never say it on air. I don't know why he would say that, because he signs off with War Eagle. I'm pretty sure that's what that says.
Yeah.
War Eagle.
That's the way I read it.
I'm with him on that. Signed Captain Entropy. So I think that is truly awesome. I saw at least 4 long boxes of comics sitting in the Support Our Troops lobby. He hand delivered them. That's a cause we've championed since the beginning of Longbox Crusade.
Yeah, so really appreciate.
Yes, thank you. He brought up something in the PS that I've kind of been meaning to address. We still play the Longbox Crusade advertisement on the show a lot. They've actually changed their address since the one we have on the promo. I'm certain if you send it the one the promo, it's going to get forwarded. But if you're into it, if you're listening to this, you want to be part of the Comics for Courage initiative, where basically you send in the comics you don't want to folks downrange military people. Jason and I can both attest that receiving comics and care packages is awesome. When you're downrange, please send them Support Our Troops. And if you hear our promo, just know that you can always just go Google the Support Our Troops address. And they may have a new one. Just send it there. We'd really appreciate it. So thank you, Captain Entropy, for doing your part.
Thank you, Captain. Really, yeah, that is awesome to see.
Very, very cool. I mean, there's going to be a lot of happy soldiers, sailors, airmen out there getting these comics. That makes my heart swell, much like the Grinch at the end of the cartoon.
I don't want to say, when speaking about Comics to Courage too, we do have continue. Professor Allen does also provide Comics to Courage, and and we may have forgotten that in the past, so we want to thank Professor Allen too for doing that.
Yeah, I think he's donated multiple times.
Yes.
Okay, let's get into the comments from episode 65, and let's see what people were writing in. Go ahead, take the first one, Pat.
All right, well, I'll take this one from Auburn Elvis himself, and he goes, ILOLs when you mentioned how many inkers that Spider-Man issue had, because my first recollection was, isn't that the dark/over-inked issue? It felt like they were adding extra ink to it, not to have to draw/color as much. And D Ray's Apple comment was spot on, though.
Hashtag Spider-Woman. Yeah, there were. Remember that one? There was like a bunch of inkers on that.
Yeah, there was.
Definitely. All right, Jason, what you got?
Well, the next one is from Tim Price, the pod crasher himself, and he's replying to our at Longbox Crusade, and it looks like also to you, Pat, and a few others. He says, "What the? Calypso debuted in Amazing Spider-Man 209? I had no idea. That alone made this issue worth reading. But yes, the art is pretty great. For the McFarlane Spider-Man series, Pat might be remembering the gruesome hallucinations Spidey had of Kraven or of Calypso in her Cravenish garb." And that's the one I remember.
Yeah, I think that's what I was thinking.
In that book. Yeah.
I think we were all shocked to find out that Calypso's first appearance was in Spidey 209.
I was, yeah.
I always thought it was an adjectiveless Spider-Man 1. Who knew? Not a lot of people, apparently. I gotta give a bad shout out to this send in from Sean Urbanski, who said this is at Yard Sale Artist reviewing X-Men number 138, and he used the image from the movie Night Shift, where Michael Keaton's looking at a picture of Henry Winkler's girlfriend, and he says, "Nice frame." So, the joke is not lost on me, Sean. That was very, very funny. I cracked up wholeheartedly.
I'll take another one from Scott O'Neill. And Scott says they kicked Cyclops off the team because he won the $3,000 Toys R Us shopping spree and only filled up one duffel bag worth of stuff, right? Oh, man, that's a good one.
All right. And I guess the last one here is from Ben Stower. I hope I'm saying that right. And he says, the X-Men Classic reprint of 138 was my first introduction to the X-Men as a 10-year-old. And boy, howdy, was I ever hooked after that. I know the feeling, Ben. You read that first X-Men one and you get hooked.
Absolutely. Thank you to everybody who made comments. We do love hearing that so much. And of course, we also love hearing voicemails. 707-532-5269, 707-532 Longbox, or just
pick up the phone.
Box. Pick up the phone. You know what to do. All right. Leave us a voicemail. Thank you to everyone for those likes, shares, retweets, follows, comments, man. We just appreciate your friendship and spreading the word about all of our podcasts. And we just really like the family we've built around us.
Definitely. Thank you all. And that's the show. Be sure to check out the website longboxcrusade.com, where posts will be made for journaling this crusade. I want to give a big thank you to Jared, Jason, and Delvin from the chat, along with everybody else in the live chat with us today. Thank you all for being here. It means so much for us. We really do appreciate your support and the conversations that you have in the chat. It's great to see. But before we go, let's find out where the listeners can find us on the internet. Jason?
You can find me at Weasel Skull on Twitter or at Jason Albrick on Facebook and Instagram.
Jared?
I'm at Yard Sale Artist, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. It's all at Yard Sale Artist, and you can check out my wares at www.theyardsaleartist.com. Back to you, Pat.
And I am at Christatos01. And if you want to interact with us via live chat, like the chat today, and be entered in to win some free stuff on our live raffles, join us on our next episode of Doing It Livestream on YouTube. And that's the second Sunday of every month at 3:30 p.m. Central Time. Check out the Longbox Crusade on YouTube. And make sure you're hitting that subscribe button. And also make sure you're please hitting that like button and making some comments in the comments below. We really do appreciate it and helps boost us on the YouTube.
Click the like button and then comment with, I liked it.
I liked it. Ooh, there you go. Thank you for listening. And we hope you enjoyed this episode of Amazing Spider-Man Chronicles. You got a comment or a question, email us at contact@longboxcrusade.com or leave a comment on the Longbox Crusade Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter page, all at Longbox Crusade. Until next time, take care and please join us on the next episode as we continue on the crusade to
read them all.
Oh my goodness. We had a long chat today, folks.
Yeah,
we sure did.
Let's do some giveaways. Is Courtney still there? Because I need to pick a number.
Courtney with us?
If so, I need a number 1 through 7. And Courtney is definitely still there. Courtney, give me a number 1 through 7. This will be for you guys in the chat today. Since we've been talking a lot of Spider-Man, I have Spectacular Spider-Man on DVD.
Ooh, I like that. That was good.
DVD nuts.
Waiting to go to your house. So 1 to 7, please, Courtney. And I'll put my pencil at a random spot. And while she's thinking about that, we will also be doing, of course, Crusaders Club member giveaways. You're going to get a double dose of DVD. We're going to give you, I actually came across
double these nuts. Oh, Robin Hood. Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
The Richard Green Robin Hoods that we've started covering on Saturday Matinee Theater. I found a DVD of those. And since you're a Crusaders Club member, we might make it extra special. We're going to throw in a little James Bond and Go Live and Let Die with you as well. Courtney picked the number 3 for
Damar Hamlin.
People who are in the chat. I got to pull up Patreon. All right, so for people in the chat, 1, 2, 3.
You know you did.
Well, I guess he deserved it since his new segment got introduced today. This is going to Auburn Elvis.
Oh, congratulations, Albert Elvis.
Mm-hmm.
Some entertainment.
And for the Patreon, Courtney, I need a number between 1 and 37. We're getting so close to 40 patrons.
Mm-hmm.
Once we hit 40 patrons, Delvin and I will do a special review of the Fantastic Four movie that Roger Corman did back in 1990.
Wow.
Yeah. I'd come and join you. Yeah.
That
because you know why?
Huh.
Then because you're going to get all the access.
All the access. Right?
Right.
All right. 1 to 37, Courtney. And again, I can't believe I actually found this out and about, but I found some Robin Hood episodes like we're covering on Saturday Matinee Theater and Live and Let Die. So Robin Hood and James Bond to Crusaders Club members. She gave number 37. She said, last but not least.
Making you count.
All right. Making me count.
4, 5, 6, 7.
Luckily, I just put my pointer at the number 1 slot, so all I have to do is scroll to the bottom. Oh my goodness! You know that makes it our old friend Dave Battle Wagons Collins. He was our very first patron, so that's why he's at the bottom of the list. So it's fitting. It's fitting.
Dave, yeah.
So congratulations
on
those
DVDs.
And to Dave, if anybody still uses physical media anymore, but hey,
oh yeah.
All the access, okay,
yes,
not just digital access, physical access.
I mean, you can't be a real fan if you don't have the physical.
And everybody's a winner that joins the club because, you join the club, you're definitely a winner. You get all that access. Why would you want more? But believe it or not, you do every month.
Speaking of Crusaders Club access for the month, excuse me, I already yesterday, I think, posted another I Finished It, Delvin's Thoughts on Wakanda Forever.
Mm-hmm.
That's available only at our Patreon page. As Pat said, he put out the poll for this episode. So you guys voted on and picked the X-Men. That was available only at the Patreon page. Before that, Delvin did and I finished it on a music band I'd never heard of called Sleep Token. I got nothing, but we can go learn about it. But these are all things that are available only on the Patreon page. So thank you to all the supporters. And if you want to become one, patreon.com/Longbox Crusade. For just $1, like Courtney says in the chat.
Yeah. Come and check it out.
Check it out. I think I'm out of things to say, Pat.
All right. I think so too. I think we definitely had a good conversation, and we really do appreciate everybody showing up for these live shows. And with that, I think we're going to call it a day. Thank you all for coming. Thank you all for chatting in the chat. I didn't get a chance to read it all, but man, there's so much that's in there going on. So we really do appreciate it, all that you guys do for us. And with that, I think it's time to sign off.
Act froze.
Everybody, we're going to act froze. You guys in the chat, act frozen too. And we will talk to you soon. Bye.